I've got a 10. I don't think it's the size of the wheel that matters. I think it's how you use it.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars. Hey, welcome back to the 9th episode of the Knives Templars. This week we've got myself and the 5 lovely and beautiful other hosts of the show. We've got Joey TheRiot. We've got Chris Jones, Eric Rivers, Matt Jr. Templar,
Rich, as I know what I was,
and Odisir Pinto, who's put his clothes on to come into the studio today to do some recording. He's not forging at the moment, so anyway, inside joke. Guys, how you doing? Joey, kick us off. What's been going on?
Not a whole lot, man. Just catching up on a few things. Doing a lot of leather work lately.
I've been seeing some of that.
It's beautiful leather work too, man. Beautiful.
Thanks. Yeah.
How'd you get that set up and all? Because you've got a lot of stuff going on with that.
Well, I had a local shop here approach me about making some of these little pancake sheets I've been showing y'all. And so I was like, cool, yeah, I can do it. So I started making them and brought like a prototype to him, and he was down for it. So making 10 of them to bring to him and put in his store. So hopefully that'll be an avenue to kind of make some money with. Hopefully.
Pancake Sheath King of South Louisiana.
I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Oh, you're gonna be.
Yeah, you will. You got some good looking work. Looks good.
Oh yeah. Nah, that's a good sweet deal you got going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hopefully I'll be able to put a couple of knives in the store. Also on commission, though. He'll be buying the sheets outright.
Yeah, hopefully they've got good security, because you'll start crying the first time somebody lifts a knife and leaves the store.
Yeah, that would suck.
Oh, it would. It would. I've actually been contemplating whether I want to ship my knives to have to be signed for or pick them up at the post office, because I always worry when one goes out, is it going to be sitting on a porch and somebody go, oh, look, that must be an Amazon salt shaker or whatever they buy, and then they go home with one of the knives. So. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I never got it. That's exactly a good fear. I mean, most of the stuff I've been sending out's been to family members, so I've had no problem with that. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to that aspect. And I got people messaging me on social media trying to work deals.
Yeah, I track them all the way there, and then I say when they're there, I berate them into heading to their front porch to get them real quick. So I've been successful with that. Anyway, Joey, you've the tools and stuff. You've been sharing some pictures of the way you've got your whole leather shop set up in your shop, and it looks like you've gone full bore as far as developing this as a different outlet for your artistic abilities. So you really jumped quite a bit there.
Yeah, I acquired a few different stamps and stuff here lately. I've always had like border stamps and stuff like that, but I just recently got into like tooling and stuff. Like wanting to. I've been practicing. I've been showing y'all like just basic basket weave patterns.
Right.
And but like I want to get into like doing floral patterns and stuff like that. And so I've been practicing on some pieces of leather. But dude, I like to talk about that. Like quality of leather.
Yeah.
Like I normally buy these European hides, but if you've ever tooled on Herman oak leather, yeah, it's a big difference, man. Like,
what's Herman oak leather?
It's a tannery here in the United States, and they got like you can look it up and read about it, but it's the way they tan their hides. They have a special process that they do, but it's some of the best tooling leather that you'll probably get your hands on. I was just blown away by some of the stuff that I tooled and the way it looked. It even works different than this, these cheaper leathers, European leather hides you'll get. It just works totally different. Just, when you tool it, you can see all the burnishing. It just comes out beautiful.
Yeah.
That stuff looks good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Another,
Better than the regular Vegetan.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Unfortunately, the piece that I had left, I made those pancake sheets with. They're not Herman oak.
Okay.
So, but I am getting some more. I'm getting actually a full side. So I got a little piece, like probably a single shoulder of it, and I've been working with, and it's like, wow, dude. Yeah, this is there's no comparison.
Yeah, if this aspect of your business kicks off, you're going to have to invest in a leather punch in the shape of your sheaths and a stitching machine.
Oh, yeah, like a die with a clicker.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think I'm there yet, but it'd be nice.
When you get to number 100, you ought to start thinking about it.
Yeah,
so I see them moving, though, because those are really nice sheaths. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to have a leather shop, that's the way to go with, get a clicker and punch these things, get a die. I think there's a company in Texas that makes those dies.
Yeah.
You can have them ordered. You send them, a PDF of whatever pattern you want. They make the die, and then you have your set of dies, your fronts, your backs for your sheaths, whatever it is you're making, purses, saddles, whatever.
Yeah. Well, don't forget to make knives, because your knives are just as beautiful.
Yeah, I've been making a few. I have so many of them in different stages.
Right.
I'll be coming out. I'm actually having some water jetted right now. I've settled on like 2 different profiles, and I'm gonna pull a chip. I'm gonna do you chip.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Yep, I'm gonna pull a chip, and I'm just gonna make those until I'm tired of making them.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I won't even talk about myself, but yeah, I'm actually, what I have found out is when you make the same thing over and over and over, it starts to refine. And you look at the first one you made, and I'm on number 13 and 14 right now, 2 totally different knives. And not that they're 2 different quality knives, it's just the things that I do, and I do much easier, and I've refined it and made it look a little better. To me personally, you're going to find that you really refine what you're doing. You're going
absolutely.
You're going to become a machine, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can see it in your work too. Like, might have to get with you on working with some of that antler. I have a ton of. I actually ended up getting a bunch of it. So, your process. How do you refine it and shape it, and all your little tips and tricks.
Yeah, it's. I've got an SOP, and there's step 1. Step 1 says wing it. And just go from there.
Use the force.
Yeah, use the force.
And just feel it.
I've actually got some steps on it and how I do it now, and it does. Like you said, if I look at my first one, what I'm doing now, and also, everybody wants to cut it right down the center, and I do that. But also, I've come to find out that you really don't want to stick right down the center, right on the blade, because you get too deep into the pith when you start sanding it out. So you start. Now I try to work as far out to the edge as I can and still be able to maintain the profile on the blade that I'm looking for, in all dimensions, and then I go from there. And you may still get a little bit of the pith here or there. You're always going to get it on the back, but that's one of probably the biggest improvements I've made as far as just splitting it down the middle and sticking it on the blade. So hey, we can talk. I feel a little embarrassed at you telling me that you want me to teach you something, because it's always been the other way around. So,
right. you work with antler all the time. I mean, those last 6 knives you put out had antler on them.
Yeah. So. Well, the 2 I'm making right now, I asked the guys, and good guys. I was like, well, what kind of handles do you want? And they're like, we want it stone washed. And thank you guys for teaching me that. They want them stone washed and etched. And we want black walnut handles, and a little piece inside of me said, yay.
Hallelujah.
Finally.
Right.
So, Chris Jones, man, you've been traveling. You've been a traveling man. What's up?
I don't think I've worked on a knife in almost a month.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been busy. Work's been really busy, and we had our annual conference for the company that I work for in Vegas. So I got to go to Vegas for about 4 days, traveling
Vegas,
to
baby.
meet customers. I was already traveling again this week. Tell you what, though, when I leave and go on one of these trips, and like in Vegas, I'm gone for like 4 days, and I end up having to like put the our group chat on Messenger like on silent. Because it's just my watch is just blowing up like all day.
I'm sorry.
No, and on some cases I'm up on. There was one case where I'm like up on stage presenting to like 200 people, and my watch is just like, and I'm like, okay.
His arm's going like this, and they think he's got a palsy. Somebody help him! He's having a heart attack.
But no, it's been good. I finished up a couple before I left. I did a Damascus Nakiri that I sold. That was a custom order from the knife show that I had, and then I've got another one that I'm working on, a Damascus chef knife. It's done. I hate making Kydex sheaths for kitchen knives if I don't have to, but I reached out to this person that ordered it, and I was like, "Do you have a knife block or something that you can store this in?" And they're like, "No, we keep our knives in a drawer." And a little part of me died inside.
Oh boy!
Hey, you ever?
So I
tried-
got to make a Kydex for it.
Yeah. You ever tried? I know like Williams Sonova sells those little covers for like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually make ones out of just basic like heavy duty, like poster board that are black for when I go to shows, and that's what I'll typically send that, and put the knife in a box and then send it so they can get it home safely. But yeah, my preference is that somebody's going to put it in a block or put it on a display board, magnetic display board or something in a drawer. I mean, it's kind of like throwing your knives in the dishwasher. Your knives are all banging around with each other in there, and the edge isn't going to stay as sharp, so
Stonewash.
right. Yeah. So then you end up putting it in a Kydex sheath, and as much as I like Kydex for the fact that it holds up and it does a really good job, that stuff's soft on the inside, and it'll grit, and everything just kind of gets embedded in the Kydex on the inside. And no matter how many layers you put on it, it'll eventually end up scratching the knife in some form or fashion. And for me, I do a lot of belt finishes. So if it's a hand sanded blade, the scratches kind of fall along the hand sand. They don't stand out as much. But against a belt finish, it's going the opposite direction, and so they just stand out like a sore thumb. But no, I've been traveling, and then my son's been working on his Eagle Scout project.
Congratulations on that. Congratulations.
He finished the actual physical project, so he made these. They're called little free libraries.
Those are awesome.
So he made 2 for our neighborhood, and stocked them, and got like 400 books, and had probably 30 different scouts that came over multiple weekends to help him build them. And in scouting, it's teaching you project management more than anything. But unfortunately, scouting is also teaching them to become the future bureaucrats of America. And there's a lot of paperwork that he has to do. So his plan that he has to have ahead of time, and now he's got to work on his paperwork that, what went well, what didn't go well, what would you change, what was your actuals cost versus your budget, and all of this stuff. So he's got to finish that up. That's probably end up half the project is paperwork. And then hopefully he can get his Eagle Scout here this summer, because he turns 18 in September. So, but no, so it's just been a lot of that lately. My shop was set up for his Eagle project to do a lot of the painting and assembly of these libraries, and so my workbenches are covered in a lot of his materials and stuff right now. So now that I'm actually home for a few days, hopefully this weekend I can get out in the shop and clean some stuff up and get back to it.
You heading back off next week?
No, next week I'm in town for a couple weeks, and then I'm mid-June. I've got to travel, and unfortunately I'm not going to go with you guys to Blade Show. I was kind of bummed about that, but my best friend, his son, who's like a second son to me, he earned his Eagle Scout, and they're doing his Court of Honor that weekend. And there's a Blade Show every year, but he only gets his Court of Honor once, so I can't miss that.
It's family, man.
Absolutely.
There.
Yeah.
You got to do that stuff. Well, it's good to see you. I see you. They don't see you, but see.
I'm glad to be back on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're not. So you didn't mention anything about what happened in Vegas. So I guess it's true.
That stays in Vegas. Let's just say there was our company's conference. It's a tech company. It's a large software company, and our conference has a reputation of being kind of one big party, and there's and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great content and a lot of stuff that goes on, a lot of networking, but when it comes time, when the day's over and the evening rolls around and it's time to party, there's a good party. And I think one night I got 3 hours sleep. So
yeah, I work in the poultry industry, and the annual Poultry Expo takes place in Atlanta, and it's one of the largest expos in the United States. I don't know if that's in earnings or size or what, but Atlanta just opens up. It's the biggest moneymaker in Atlanta every year as well, but it opens up 24/7 for a good week, and I know what you're experiencing over there. But the biggest thing I like about attending those types of expos and things is seafood towers at night when you're out to eat. Somebody buys a seafood tower, and it's like, hey, they're going to take those 2 lobsters back to the kitchen. It's like, I'll take those.
Yeah, we went out one night. I took one of my customers out to a nice steak place. So we had a nice bone-in ribeye. It was really good. Yeah, it was. It's lots of good food there. Vegas is one of those things that if you're there for more than 3 days, it's just too much. So.
Yeah.
I lived there for 2 years.
I was there for 3.5. Oh yeah. That. Well, I've talked to people that live in Vegas, and they say it's a completely different thing. You're not on the Strip the whole time, but if you're on the Strip for more than 2 to 3 nights, it's too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's the same in any big town. Whether it's New Orleans or New York City or whatever, the locals don't necessarily stay in those particular areas. In Detroit, we didn't stay in those areas more than 10 or 15 minutes. We got out as quick as we can.
And in Vegas, you have no sense of time.
Yeah.
Right?
In
There's
Detroit,
no clocks anywhere. And
in Detroit, you just dodge bullets all the way out of town.
Well, it's like when you move there, you go and you do the touristy things. But then after you do them, then it's like no biggie. Now you're just living there, and now you're witnessing everybody else doing it. And you might go, like, I lived there for 2 years, and I think I went to Fremont like 3 times, and and that was it. And that was just to meet up with friends that have been there for the first time. So,
right.
Yeah,
and it was hot. It was like 103. It was miserably hot. But it's a dry heat, so no, it's still hot.
It's still hot.
It's still hot. You can cook a chicken in an oven, or you can
sidewalk it.
put a chicken in like a steamer, right? You can boil a chicken, you can steam a chicken, you can put it in an oven, you can do anything, but it still cooks the chicken, right? So I don't care if it's a dry heat or a humid heat, it's still hot.
I could peel the skin and the dirt and the gravels and get to the meat, right? You're good.
Yeah. Odysseer, what's been going on in the world of Odysseer? I see you've got a celebratory champagne bottle sign behind your head there.
Yeah, last Saturday was my son's graduation with the Maryland National Guard State Challenge Academy. It's a program for youth that are sort of failing in high school and things like this, and they help them out with a lot of different things. And so it was a good thing. He spent 4 months away from home, and we just got him back on Saturday. So we'll see where he goes from here.
How old is he?
17, going on 18 now.
You think he'll approach a career in the military or a stint in the military, or he had enough? Yeah,
he's talking about joining the Air National Guard or something like that. He wants to fly.
See, I would join the Coast Guard and end up on the coast of the Atlantic, so I could sit out there and catch stripers when I wasn't on duty.
Nah, forget the ocean, man. Solid ground for me.
Yeah. Solid ground and a big Bowie knife, because there's crazy people out there.
Hey, solid ground, I can run away. In the water,
Big Baby shark.
There are crazy people out there, Chip. There's people that will actually like make naked photos of Odyssey and put them on the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
Those people are crazy.
Yeah. You gotta watch out for those people.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, regular work, getting people pissed off in the shop, normal things.
Yeah.
You shall not pass,
I think
You shall
I got to
not
come back.
pass.
That was just an artist interpretation of a verbal painting that he painted for us. I think he's the first guy that says he forges in the nude under the moon out in a park or something like that.
Yeah, but you
And
brought
he
it
howls
into
right
all
when he
of ours.
quenches.
I just
Painted
brought
the
it to-
picture in our
I
minds.
just brought it
but
to.
you
I
brought
just
it
brought
to
it to life, and it can't be unseen.
I was like, dude,
Yeah.
where did you
All right,
get
for
this
everybody
picture,
on here
man?
though, it was a clean photo. He was covered by an anvil.
And the hammer.
Yeah.
That was a
Strategically placed
smart
anvil.
and the scarf.
And,
Cover
And
up the
he
beard.
had
The
and he
hanky
had a
was
scarf.
a nice touch. Yeah.
other than that, just having fun, enjoying whatever we can while we still can.
Well, I haven't gotten rid of that because the next edition of the Knives Templars may be character editions with each one of us on the back or front of a shirt, and I'm thinking that will be the Odyssey or Pintos shirt
Hey, I'll take it.
for the Knives Templars.
I'll take it.
Got to take a joke, right?
No,
Got to find
Hey, man.
humor in life, man.
life
You know,
is too
right?
short to be pissed
Right.
off all the time. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Ain't that the truth?
Richie.
although
Rich,
I piss off a lot of people all the time, I'm a
gotta-
professional on that.
you have to find happiness in the rest of your life.
I'm a professional.
Today in the shop. Oh my God, I had some people that are steaming at me, man. It was wow. 'Cause,
Yeah, I think-
people don't understand that it's not my fault that they bought a rolling turd.
Right. You
You
put your
know?
money into that, you should know what you got. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always telling people, okay, before you buy your car on Facebook Marketplace from Billy Bob on a corner somewhere, bring it for inspection. I will give you an honest report, and then you can make your assessment whether you're gonna buy it or not. Once you have it, everything in that car belongs to you, including all the problems, and I cannot just wave it away. Today I had two customers there. The moment I sent you all that little audio, it was kind of okay. Get ready to pull my knife out and go, yeah.
Yeah, well, listen. Let me tell you, I lived in Detroit for 14 years and worked in Detroit. And you guys may not know, I'm as Eminem's only a few years younger than me, so I was part of that Detroit rap scene. And I used to freestyle rap a little bit, and just listening right now, I've come up with something good. It goes like this.
Oh boy.
I've stood here before inside the pouring rain, and the world is turning circles in my brain. Chicka, chicka, chicka. And I guess I'm always hoping you'll end this reign. It's my destiny to be the king of pain.
Wow.
Chicka, chicka, chicka,
And
chicka. Wah!
Chica what? Slim Shady?
So you're the king of pain. That's your title, Pinto.
Yeah,
King of
but
pain.
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, right? There are some regulations to keeping cars safe on the road, and I'm looking for a minimum allowances per the state, and that's what it is.
Hey,
Well,
I
you
think
know,
you just-
pain-
I just think you're too strict.
Oh, I have that fame, but actually no.
Yeah.
Pain
hold a
lets you
car-
know that you're still alive.
You can hold a car together with duct tape.
Yeah, if you're in West Virginia or
Detroit.
somewhere in Kentucky or Detroit, yeah.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
thought he was fixing to say Louisiana.
Oh, I haven't seen Louisiana cars yet, so I don't know.
Richie Rich, what you up to, buddy?
Well,
You've been I saw. Wait. You made a Kim Kardashian knife. You'll have to talk about here too.
Kimi Kardashian. Yeah, I don't know. I had a piece of scrap left at 1084, and I'm like, let's make a Kiridashi. And I'm thinking along the lines. Well, I told Eric I was going to make a Kiridashi, and I was going to, do the rock pattern stuff like he was doing with the knives that he's doing. But she just looks so sexy. Like I couldn't rock it up. Yeah, I couldn't seal the deal. So yeah, I made one of those, and I decided I had another piece of scrap, and I was going to do another one. And other than that, I'm just trying to catch up on some knives. I've been sick for about a week. Finally able to really talk, even though I got a little bit of rumble going on. Other than that, I'm trying to catch up on stuff. I got an AEBL project I'm going to be working on. So other than that, yeah, just trying to stay busy around the shop, feeling better, and just trying to get some stuff done, and putting some stuff out there, finally getting more active, actually doing videos and reels on Instagram, and trying to keep that momentum going because it keeps me busy. I just hate being sick and being idle and sitting inside the house and not doing anything and hacking and coughing, and I'm watching all the beautiful leather work that Joey's doing, and I'm hardly seeing any posts from Chris because he's staying busy, and we got each other to keep each other entertained. And
I'm going to say that just like Chris Jones, I've had to turn my computer off, almost come to the point of like booting you guys out of the group for the day and hurting your feelings. It's like, dude, I can't get anything done. My arm is going bzz, bzz, bzz. It's like, you guys get a room. And you're fine. You're fine. Don't stop talking to each other. I can always cut it back. I can. Well, Eric Rivers is actually, I hear that he's using his shop to temper knives, and it's so hot in his shop. I think he said it's currently at about 390 degrees, so he's having to run a air conditioner in the background. There it goes. Eric's live. What's up, Eric?
What's going on? Yeah, sorry about the old AC background, but if I didn't have that on, I would have to be,
I'm melting.
That
I'm
Pinto
melting.
Outfit. Yeah. So
it's a scarf string.
I've had a lot going on, more towards the work side, but I've been able to knock out a few batch setups for the little rock texture EDCs that I've been making. Had a few people purchase those, a few more than I thought were going to, and had to knock out a bunch of those and some sheaths and get those ready, and then got the foundation poured for the shop so that I can really start building something now, and I'm really excited about that.
You're not charging enough for those knives, by the way. You're not charging enough for those knives. I don't care what you say.
So for those, I wanted just to, make little simple EDCs, and a lot of people who are making knives that size are selling them for around that price. The ones that people are selling at shows and stuff like that. The next rendition of them are going to be more expensive than that. They'll be right at about $200 a piece. But it's one of those deals where could I sell them for more? Yes, but I do not have hardly anything invested in material or time to make those. They don't take long at all to make, and so I just put them at a good price point. I've got other knives that I sell for anywhere between $400 and $1,000. So those are the ones that really make a lot of the money. But with this, I have like maybe $9 in material cost, and like maybe between each one 3 hours worth of labor. So $130, really not that bad. But
Eric Rivers, the
good.
nice guy of knife making.
Well, I mean, they're good. They have the right heat treat. They hold a good edge, and they'll make people some really good little EDCs. But the next version of it, I'm mixing up that style with the Karambui. So it's going to be a slightly bigger blade. It's going to have a ring on it. So it's not going to be a karambit, but it's going to be a little ring knife. And it's going to have the rock texture, and it's going to have the texture that I do with the 36 grit belts. And then I acid etch it, and then I sand the top of the texture off. It'll have a whole bunch of cool textures. They'll look cool, and
so you have like 3 layers in that.
Yeah, it's gonna be. They're gonna look
top
cool. I'm
coat
probably
in
gonna do a
between
video on them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
So what kind of abrasives? There's a lot of sanding goes on there. What kind of abrasives are you going to be using?
So most of what I use is, of course, I use the 36 grit belts that, from Phoenix Abrasives. I use those.
Incinerator.
And yeah, the incinerator. And the best part about them with that particular belt is I've got one belt that, I've got one that's slightly worn and one that's brand new. Of course, I got a bunch of other ones, but the one that's slightly worn, I have probably ground, I think so far, 15 sets of bevels with that one belt, and it's steel sharp, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's.
Well, you know what?
I'm not being light on them.
I think that means it's time to tell people where they can get some Phoenix abrasive belts.
All knife makers need abrasives, plain and simple. Here at Knives Templars, we're proud to partner with Phoenix Abrasives. I used to get my belts from another company, but they spent more time on marketing than they did customer service, sometimes taking 2+ weeks to ship my order. That's not the case with Phoenix Abrasives. They're obsessed with committing all of their resources to customer satisfaction. Whether you're using a 2x72, 2x42, 1x30, or something else, they've got you covered. They even carry Rhino wet sandpaper. So go to phoenixabrasives.com/shop and enter promo code Templars10 for 10% off your next order.
All right, man. Hey, everybody, head on over to Phoenix Abrasives website. Pick you something out because they've got some great products, and they'll keep on grinding all day long and through several knives. Eric, we cut you off, but I had to tell somebody about those Phoenix abrasives.
No, it's all good, and those belts, easily my favorite belts that I've had. I've used Norton, I've used the Shredder belts, I've used, just all the different brands that you can get off of Amazon and all kinds of different, companies. And I'll tell you right now, those belts last you longer than any of those, hands down. It's crazy. And so I have a sharp one to do the textures that I do, and on the bevels and everything, and it's nice, just great belts. But like I said, I'm not easy on them. I just get after it on those belts, and they're still super sharp. But other than that, I've got 2 new builds that I'm about to start on. I've got a heirloom knife that I'm working on with a guy's family member's file that I'm turning into a knife that he can hand down, and this is pretty cool. I don't do many commission pieces nowadays, and unless they have like a good story or something like that for them, and I've wanted to do another one for a little while, so I'm going to be doing that. It's got a cool profile, and then I'm about to start a good size kukri. That'll be the next Shop Talk Tuesday series is a kukri that we're going to do out of 5160 with the distal taper towards the tang and a distal taper towards the tip. So double distal tapers and all kinds of cool grinds and all that stuff. It's going to have a really good looking handle on it too, so I think everybody will like that. We'll see how it goes. What about you?
Cool. Well, I'll tell you, but first, the can cracking you hear back there is Matt opening up his first beer of the night, and I guess it wears him out a little bit because he breathes heavy as he's doing that. So muted him out there a little bit, and he's out there laughing in the background right now. But it sounded like you were giving birth, Matt. It sounded like you were giving birth.
I think it was at least his second.
Yeah.
Oh, it's totally my second. But it was a quick jaunt. Like, I had to be fast, and I'm a little plush.
We heard you
get out more.
We heard you stumbling across the floor.
My apologies.
Mute, man, mute.
Right.
On my side, man, I kind of took a week of not doing anything. I just kind of needed a break. I went to Arkansas last week and got a case of Montezuma's Revenge, probably from the local Taco Bell. It's not funny, Otis. I lost 72 pounds.
You called a bomb threat into their bathroom?
Exactly. Let's just put it this way.
I had some bad guacamole, huh?
The Holiday Inn said, toilet paper only, please. Our septic system is petite or whatever. And I was like, I think I killed that septic system last week. So when I got home this week, exactly. So when I got home this week, I decided, hey, I'm just going to take the week and kind of relax. So last night I got the fever again and the knife fever, and went out and cut out. Joey said, lucky number 13. It's my 13th flusher. 5 more to go. I'm enjoying making them. Like I said, I think we were talking prior to the show, is that as you make them, you get better and better making the same thing over and over, and you start to enjoy the different aspects of. It's kind of like, driving through town where you've been before. When you go to take the step in the knife, you remember how you curved or how you wanted it to look. And on those last 2 knives, I've seen some people do this in the past, is they'll drill out their sharpening choil area rather than file it out. And I did it on these last 2 knives. On one knife, I got just a millimeter too high, but the way the blade kind of curved back in just a hair, and then I went in and flattened out on the other side of the choil. It just looks really cool. So it's like, hey, maybe this is the way I'm going to make them, just to look like this. But it's just really kind of neat. And also, that's what this podcast is all about. I learn every day, and you guys walked me through putting together. I used Eric's what do you call it, aquarium rock idea with the WD-40 rather than the stuff from what's the name of the store we all go to? Harbor Freight. And then I used Matt's tube and talked to Joey about how he was spinning them and what I needed to do. And then next thing, I was ordering acid and building a tube for there, and saw how you guys were assembling them, and now I'm etching and stonewashing these knives. And before, I was just bluing them and stonewashing them, or just bluing them and hitting them with steel wool at the end, triple or double 4/0 steel wool. And now I'm getting these really, really cool rustic finishes. And even with the antler, man, I'll just tell you, I can't thank you guys enough, because as a team or a group here, we totally learn from each other. I'm not up to even wanting to try anything that Otis here is doing.
How about we not try what Matt's doing right now? I don't know if you guys noticed what Matt's drinking. He is drinking ferric chloride. Please don't do that, folks. He's drinking out of a ferric chloride bottle. But, man, I hope he neutralized that.
We just witnessed that.
Guinness.
I guess that's why he can drink that Fireball cinnamon crap.
It probably helps him eat Taco Bell, too.
Probably does.
Oh, yeah.
Helps
no
the
doubt.
sinuses.
Well, the acid.
Digestion.
Hey, we're not giving any medical advice or anything here. Don't do this at home. But I do believe the acid in your stomach is the same stuff in the ferric chloride with the ferric. Hydrochloric acid, if I'm not mistaken.
I highly doubt it.
No. They're both an acid.
Depends. Are you grinding with your mask on or not? I mean, you're getting your iron that way, right?
Well, I'll tell you, last night I got done grinding out a knife, and I realized I hadn't put my mask on. I just didn't even think about it because I haven't ground anything in 2 weeks. And this morning, I don't know if you guys ever experienced this. You babyface guys wouldn't know, but us bearded gents would know that your beard has metal in it. It tastes like metal. It smells like metal all day. And of course, you babyface guys would also recognize that your sinuses are dripping a metal taste down in the back of your throat. And that's the stuff we want to keep out of our body. So
Exactly.
Don't do that.
And I picked a black booger driving to work too. So, hey.
It happens. Sometimes you're in the flow, like you're moving around, and you don't even think about it. You're like, and you need to stop and think. But
and that's what I did.
Title for this one.
Well,
Black boogers.
when I'm grinding and I'm going to run sometimes, I always have a fan blowing right next to my grinder anyways. so it blows all that dust out
I have
into
that
the
also.
to the yard. But yeah, man, don't grind without a mask.
Yeah,
It's
it was.
real bad stuff.
I haven't done that in forever, and today, like I said, I was taking a shower. It just reminded me, hey, that's why you do it. Because when I went to put my stuff back up, there was my mask. I was like, oh, wow.
It was only for just a minute.
Yeah.
And me especially, that I already have some small lung deficiency from when I was painting trucks back in Brazil, with so unprotected, ignorant people just don't
You
know
didn't
what
wear
they're
clothes to
doing.
do that either?
No, I used to wear a little
Living
loincloth,
art.
but painting without any mask or anything like this, it kind of bound my lungs. So yeah, I have to be really careful when I'm grinding.
Yeah. So I opened up a couple things. Like I've learned some new stuff here lately. What are you guys doing out there that's different? Because we're constantly evolving. Anybody got any things that you're doing?
Chisel grind
Zippos.
here.
What's that?
Doing chisel grinds, making these little kiridashis, and that's definitely out of my box. Like, yeah.
How are you sharpening those?
Well, right now I haven't sharpened the one that I got. I'm still going to be considering how I'm going to do that. I have my Lansky set up. I'm thinking about doing that. I might just take it right down to 0. I don't know. Like, I'm still 400 right off the belt, so I can just push it right up there and clean it up and be done. But I'm not sure yet. Like, this is the first time I've done a chisel grind, so I'm, just like I have the hidden tang that I'm working on. And you think like
I would suggest going.
I'm still pretty new, so what's that?
I would suggest going to a 0 edge on it, and then just you can sharpen it basically as your sanding progression going through, and then get it sharp enough to where you can just strop it. But I would go 0 edge on it because they look weird. I've done them, and they look weird with a chisel grind and then a secondary bevel. Yeah, it doesn't look that good. So definitely just go to a 0
right
on it.
there. I'm right there. I think I could take it on 500 and just take it right there by hand.
And strop the backside. Strop the flat side too.
Yeah, isn't the flat side not really flat? I'm not sure, right? But isn't the flat supposed to have a bit of a hollow grind kind of deal, or is it supposed to be perfectly flat?
It's supposed to be flat.
Because I never done one of those before, and I have the impression that it kind of have a little bit of a hollow grind on the back, sort of like a straight razor.
I'm not sure. I know that all the ones I've seen were flat.
Yeah, it's a chisel, so it's flat.
Yep, and it's meant to go all the way up against something and be able to scribe. It's meant to be able to chisel things out, all that. And I wouldn't put scales. I've done kiridashis with scales, but they're way better without them because you can get all the way up against something and then scribe it, cut it, slice it, everything. So you made the right decision on that.
Good.
That would make a really nice leather slicer right there.
Yeah, it came out good, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I used to tell I've made a couple, and I would tell people, I'd say, "Oh, it's a kiridashi," and they're like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's a Japanese paper cutter." Right? Like, it's a Japanese style paper cutter, right? And you've got that, like Eric said, you can get up flush against something. And it would make for a good, leather knife. Or I made one for my wife. She's a heavy crafter and scrapbooker, and so I made one for her and my mom, and so they use it for cutting paper. Other people that I've made them for, they just use them as like box cutters, right? It's like their fancy knife that they open their Amazon packages with.
Yeah, I have 2 of them around here somewhere I use for box cutters.
See, that's what I was telling my wife. This is, I was going to use this. This is going to be mine. I was going to use it for cutting my leather because it has the flat side that you could run on your ruler, and you get a nice flat even cut.
Exactly.
Make a tool. Need a tool?
Yeah, I tried making one like
That's
that,
right.
but it came out looking like a shank, and my son even wrapped a bit of tape on the handle.
You didn't keister it, right?
No prison pocket, man.
I used I drilled into the front of both of my TheRiot boots, and I ground it out with a jigsaw blade, and then I epoxied mine into the front of my boots. So
you got your like James Bond boot knife, toe knife.
I'll kick you.
Yeah. One of these days, I want to try a chisel grind and do like a sushi knife or a sashimi knife.
That's cool.
Take my Nakiri design and do it with just a chisel for slicing like that. But one of these days
like
I'll get around to it.
Is that Kiritsuki?
Cool.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, those are really.
Have
cool.
you
Matt,
ever seen
like
have I shared a picture of the Honosuke I made for my wife?
Yeah.
Hey Matt, I'll tell you what,
nice.
you had a
Red
poll. You had a poll going
No.
on.
That was a ebony.
Hey Matt, you had a poll going on about whether you're supposed to put a handle on these or not. But I tell you what, before we get into that, in the event that everybody does decide that you should be putting handles on that, we want to talk a little bit about our favorite knife scale handle provider. Just 1 second.
As knife makers, we all know the importance of quality handle material. Something that's both tough yet beautiful will increase the value of your knives and allow you to build something that your customers will love. When it comes to the handle material for my knives, I choose Swikowski scales. Run by Sarah Halpane and her mentor Alex Swikowski, they have a combined 20 years experience making handles and knives. They offer stabilized burls, exotic hardwoods, vintage micartas, and some of the best segmented scales in the business. Find them on Instagram at Swikowski Scales or on their website, swikowskiscales.com. That's SWIECZKOWSKI scales.com.
All right, so Chris and Joey, you guys jump all over Sarah's scales, what she's got to provide for us guys out here in the knife world. Y'all got anything cool lately from Sarah?
I got one that I'm doing. I mentioned my wife and mom are scrapbookers. They're involved with this charity scrapbooking event that they go to every year, and I try to make a knife for one of their auctions, and so I'm going to make one this year that has daisies, like actual real daisy flowers that she then cast in a clear resin on a purple backer. So I've got that one that she's doing. I've got an idea for another one that I want to do. I've got some of my grandfather's old Eli pearl snap shirts, and I want to take the cuff where it's got like 3 or 4 pearl snaps right in a row and actually have her cast that in a resin, so make a knife out of my grandfather's old shirts. But no, her and I are coming up with some crazy stuff. She did one for me recently that had brain coral and whalebone and cholla cactus, and so that one's
whalebone.
pretty cool. I'm waiting for some Alabama wave Damascus. I put a special order in for that, so hopefully I get that at some point, and do a wave Damascus with this ocean themed handle. So now I keep throwing crazy ideas at her, and she's able to deliver.
Yeah, she's good. What about you, Joey? Anything else these here recently, or you just
From
all
Sarah?
tied up in leather? Yeah.
No, I actually hadn't got, but she just made a drop. I saw some scales I liked, so I'm gonna end up hitting her up because I do have a Damascus knife that I'm gonna do. I like she's got this black Tasmanian wood with the buffalo horn. Mm-hmm. Man, every time I look at them, I just drool over them. She does some beautiful segmented scales. I mean,
Some of the best I've ever seen. Is she going to be at Blade
absolutely.
Show? She going to be
No,
at Blade Show?
she's not going to be at Blade, but she's going to be. She will be at that Louisiana knife show.
Oh, cool.
There in September. Yeah, and she actually made me a set of scales that were. I think they were. I don't remember what I think it was a maple. I got to go look at them again, but we did an inset with some purple G10 and some brass liners, and so it's going to go play off this LSU pen that I have, and so I figure I should be able to sell an LSU knife or two in Louisiana.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Maybe we ought to get a table or a booth down at the Louisiana show for the Knives Templars, but it's really gonna teeter on one thing. Pendo, are you willing to come down there and just wear a real small loincloth behind the anvil so people can take their picture with you?
No.
That's all right. I have the ability to make a life-size cutout, and they can just have they can take their picture with the cutout. So hey, maybe we'll still get one.
Yeah, you can do that. You got my blessing right there.
Yeah. Well, I will. I'm excited about tools. We were talking about tools, and I am getting ready. I just got a Majestic Forge, and I'm going to be firing it up this weekend. And next week, I am ordering my package from Ameribraid, and I've decided to go with the top package they got with the 2-horsepower motor. I think add-ons at this time, I'm probably going to get a 12-inch wheel with it. Is that what you'd get, Joey? The 12-inch?
I got the 10-inch, but the more radii you have, the more flexibility you have. So if you're getting a 12, go for it. I mean, but you can do a lot with a 10-inch. That's what I have. I don't know if anyone else has a 10-inch.
I've got a 10. I don't think it's the size of the wheel that matters. I think it's how you use it.
Yeah. Nice. I like how you did it. But no, I mean, if you want a 12-inch wheel, get a 12-inch wheel.
I was recommended a 12-inch, but I couldn't find one that was. I mean, I found a Ameribraid, but their tooling arm is just not compatible.
It's a 2x2, yeah.
Yeah, and they say, okay, we'll sell you a 12-inch, and then you just make your own tooling arm. But I kind of nah. So I went with my original setup that I had, and I got a wheel from them. It's a 10-inch. I still have to find a real good use to it for it. I mean, I was grinding my handles. I tried grinding a couple of handles, and it came out really good. But as blade grinding goes, I haven't really used yet.
Well, I'm also deciding. Go ahead.
Or you could get a Radius Platinum. I recently picked up one secondhand market from that's for the Ameribraid grinder, and dude. Yeah, it's like it's equivalent to basically a 36-inch wheel.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to use it for hollows, I think you really have to kind of do the math and figure out, the thickness of your material, how high do you want your grind to go up, and figure out the right size wheel, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're, I don't use that for mine. I've only done 2 hollows, and only one of them was successful. The other one I burned through as I got it too thin. So I use mine a lot for my handle shaping and putting that Coke bottle profile, right, in the handle. And so for me, like an 8-inch wheel would be too small because it wouldn't fit with the size that I like to do on that. And so I think the 10 is perfect for that. I also use mine kind of a lot like what you'd see guys on, when you're watching Forged and Fire and they've always got the wheel.
Never seen it.
When you've got the wheel on there and you've got a rougher grit, you can remove material fast and it doesn't heat up like a regular platen would.
Yes.
And so you can clean off scale. I take all my knives, especially the ones that have been water jetted or laser jetted, and they've all got this little bit of scale on them, and I'll throw a Scotch-Brite on there with the wheel and clean them all up and get them, nice and clean before I then do a heat treat. So I don't know. The 10 to me is the most versatile, but if you're wanting to do hollow grinds, I would sit down and figure out the math and figure out what the right radius is for the material thickness and size of the grind that you want to do.
Well, I'm going to do that this week.
There's a calculator online that you can punch in numbers and it'll tell you, what wheel size you're using, your stock thickness, and how high you can go with the bevels.
What are you going to say, Eric?
See, if I was going to do anything, it would be a small wheel attachment. Like I've got an 8, a 10, and a 12-inch contact wheel for a lot of different things, and I'll use them for stock removal. And I kind of stopped using them for my handle shaping just because I don't do near as many Coke bottle handles as I used to. But I would say if I was going to get anything now, it'd be a small wheel attachment. I cannot wait for that thing to come in.
Oh, I couldn't live without mine.
I absolutely want it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I absolutely love my small wheel.
And for my
now, when you say small wheel, what are we talking about here?
We're talking about the attachment that then comes with the. It's got a bearing on either side of the wheel.
Yeah. So this one,
put it in.
Yeah, this
Your
one
package
comes.
will come with that.
Yeah, my package is going to come with every one of their small wheels from what is it, 3/8 or something all the way up. I can't remember exactly.
So
I
a
think
quarter
it's half.
inch.
Quarter inch.
Quarter?
all the way to 2 inches.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's got that. The only other thing I was looking at was possibly getting the adjustable table. And I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get that right now or not. But
It comes with the work table.
it does. But they've put out a new adjustable table that's got the 3-axis
the
adjustment.
tilted. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think if I get it, I may not get it on this first purchase, or maybe I will. I got to think about it between now and then. But I've got the money, so like Chris says, buy once, cry once, and I may take that philosophy and just go ahead and get it. But I'm gonna do some reasoning on it. The other thing I'm doing is I'm getting my. I hate using an angle grinder now because you guys said if you get a bandsaw, you'll never look back, and so I angle grind with a bad taste in my mouth every time now I get it out. That thing should just be used just to cut raw metal in half and move on. But I do like it. I mean, it's a Harbor Freight when it was probably $20, and it's done a great job for a few years. But I'm gonna get the bandsaw, and I'm sorry, Matt, you helped me. It was a great job, but I got the money. I'm just gonna get a swag table and go from there.
Go for it.
Yeah,
So those will be my two big purchases next week, and then that just leaves. I shouldn't say just one last thing for my shop, but it'll be next year's purchase. I'm gonna.
Hey listeners, let's take a moment today to thank one of our sponsors for today's show, and that sponsor is Ameribraid Grinders. Eric and Kevin over at Ameribraid have sold thousands of these grinders, and they are super nice guys, and their customer service is excellent. I would know. I've been personally using their 2x72 grinder now for 2 years, and it has changed my knife making to a whole new level. So if you're in the market for or looking to upgrade from that 1x30 or 2x42, then give Ameribraid a look. There you'll find they have 3 packages of grinders to offer. They have a mastery package, a foundations package, and a get grinding package, in which all of them come at different price points. So I'm sure you'll find something that'll suit your needs as a knife maker. Also, Ameribraid has a ton of innovative attachments for their grinders. So listeners, you can find out about all of this at www.ameribraid.com. Go give them a look, see what they have to offer today. And now, back to the show.
Pick up a heat treat oven. And I know a lot of people really love Even Heat. I think it's a good brand, but I know, Chris, you're using a different brand, aren't you?
I am. I'm using Paragon. I like the fact that...
Which is a very well-known across the board, from pottery to anything
absolutely.
You want to heat treat.
Yeah, they're known for their pottery kilns. I don't know, something about... I mean, I think Even Heats are made in Michigan. Paragons are made here in Texas. For me, I've met Bert Flanagan, who kind of leads that. He's a knife maker as well. And so he kind of leads the knife making arm of Paragon. And so I've met him at a number of shows. And so I reached out to him directly and called him and talked to him about what I needed and what would make the most sense. And then they made it there at their plant there in Dallas, and I went and picked it up. And so for me, knowing that, one, I'm going to run into Bert at shows, and two, it's here in Texas. So if I have a problem, it's easier to get it to them if I had, a repair that needed to be done, or if I needed a part or something. So that's the main reason why I went with Paragon. I know a number of other people here locally that have them as well. So they're both good brands, though. I mean, it's I will say, making sure you get the controller is where it's at, right? I mean, you want something that works well, but having the controller and trying to figure out how to program and everything on them can be a bit tricky. But once you figure that out, it's pretty easy.
Yours 220?
No, it's not. I talked to Bert about that.
240?
It was 220, 221, whatever it takes. None of y'all get that reference? Okay, Mr. Mom. Go back and watch Mr. Mom. That's a great movie. But no, I
you were like 3 when that came out.
No, I was older than that. But we had, and talking to him, he's like, look, I work from home. I have the ability, I'm not, for guys that were in their shop, like Otis here, maybe who he has to, or Joey, where they have to travel to their shop, they want that thing to come up to speed pretty quickly. So it'd make a lot of sense. For me, I can turn it on, go inside, come back later. It's fine. It heats up relatively quickly. I mean, it's 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
to get it up to like, I'm talking like when I'm normalizing. So I'm getting up to like 1600 degrees. It'll warm up within, 30, 45 minutes. No matter what, even once it gets to that temperature, you wait longer for it to cool down to a lower temperature than you do no matter what it is. But I have a buddy that's an electrical designer and another friend of mine who's also a customer that he's an electrician. And so they designed and worked it out where I think I've got like, man, I don't understand anything electrical. I tell people it's a foreign language. I think it's like a 30 amp circuit with the right, type of plug. And so no, it's fine. It works well, and it saved me a few bucks. Not having the tube.
Got a question about that, man. What is the power draw at your electric bill at the end of the month? Because if you put in that amount of time to come up to temperature, I would assume that thing would be sucking a lot of electricity.
Man, I'm only heat treating. Maybe I try to do it in batches. I don't heat treat one knife at a time. I try to heat treat 5. Right.
Otis here. When your wife says, "How much have you been spending on knives?" do you give her a ledger and break it all out for her?
No, I mean, she gets to see everything that I do, so I'm on the clear.
I'm going to say this proudly and loudly right now because my wife's in another room and she doesn't listen to the podcast. Hey, this is my hobby. I could be at the bar drinking or going crazy. Don't worry about what I spend.
I got 2 teenage
Don't
kids
ever tell her I said that.
leaving lights on throughout the house and all sorts of stuff. Having that thing come up to speed in an hour, I haven't noticed any difference in my electric bill. But again, I'm not heat treating every day. I'm trying to do, maybe once a week, once every other week, and I'm going to do somewhere between 3 and 5 knives, depending upon the size of the knife and how many I can do in the oil before the oil gets too hot.
How big a knife can you put it in there?
Right. So 6 and I ask you.
You've got an 18-inch model?
18, yeah. I'm not doing swords. I've got no,
Well, you got to think about the ovens, too, is when they get to the temperature that they're at, they get there and they ride and they turn themselves on and off.
Yeah.
Can you
kind of
fit
like your
this?
stove.
Oh, absolutely. You could put that in there.
So the relay just kicks on and off?
Yeah, so it's not like it's staying on 24/7. It's just trying to sustain that heat from there.
It's got good, it's got good, fire brick, so it's retaining that heat pretty well. I mean, the outside temperature of that thing, I mean, it's 1600 degrees on the inside. I wouldn't want to go up and lean on the outside, but I mean, it's safe to the touch. It's warm, definitely, but I mean, you're not gonna completely get a 2nd degree burn by touching it. So it's insulated really well. And then I got on mine, I have the pull down door, so it opens like a drawbridge versus swinging out. Because for me, that gives me flexibility now to the direction that I want to move to then get to the oil. So I liked that one a little bit better. And I think that one was actually a little bit cheaper because it doesn't actually lock and latch.
See, that's what I worry about with my even heat, because I open that up and I pull something out. Like, if I let go, is that going to come swing right back on me? Like, I'm trying to, it's definitely something to be mindful about.
You have an even heat, Matt?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
A 110.
And let me say this, we've got whatever your knife needs are. We've got a great business out there, Pops Knife Supplies, and they're located over in the Atlanta area. As a matter of fact, they're going to be doing some demonstrations over at Blade Show, but they also carry heat treat ovens, so you guys need to check them out. Let's listen a little bit about Pops now.
Pop's Knife Supply was started 40 years ago and is owned by 4 professional knife makers. Andy Roy of Fiddleback Forge, Alan Searles of W.A. Searles Knives, Joey Berry of J.B. Knife Works, and Dirk Lutz of Dirk Lutz Knives make a great team of owners carrying on the traditions and business started by James Poplin. Over 4 decades in business is a testament to the best customer service with same-day shipping on weekdays. Pops only charges actual shipping, and any shipping differences are refunded on your orders. Everything you need to make knives, from grinding, steel, pin stock, heat treating, and more, can be found at Pops. Visit them at popsknife.supplies. And now, back to the show.
All right, guys.
All right. Speaking of
Eric.
pops, I have some 8670. Hold on. I have not touched it yet. So as soon as I start touching that, I'm going to be posting it on Pops. So,
there you go. There you go. There's some beautiful knives being posted on the Pops Facebook page. You guys need to take a look at it because a lot of talented guys over there. Need to start letting them know that if they're not already on there because membership's growing, let them know to come over to the Knives Templars, to the Rivers Experience as well, and start posting some of that stuff there. Seen a lot of beautiful things. Eric, you got any new tools lately?
I mean, really, I've just got stuff to make my life a little bit easier. Finally got a machinist square and got my 321 blocks, and I started using those. Really like them. I've been doing a few more hidden tangs and different knives that you kind of really have to be able to square them up and make sure everything's even to minimize gaps, and being able to find centers on your handle material. So once you set your tang, then get your handle material on there, then you want to find a center so that it's even to the blade and not the hole you drilled for the tang, stuff like that, so that it makes it a little bit easier to shape the handle and remove material. Just having really square items is going to make that way better. But other than that, I got a big old batch of handle material from one of the guys that I get stuff from over in Russia, a guy named Oleg. And he sent me, I've got some really ridiculously awesome stuff. I think I got maybe 15 different blocks from him that are just absolutely crazy.
How do you think we're seeing your blocks and they're beautiful, but you mentioned a good friend of yours, Oleg. How have you received that stuff recently? How has this tragedy taking place over in Europe right now affected us being able to share with people over there?
So
I know Facebook is killed.
Yeah, but he actually talks a lot on Facebook. He posts most of his stuff on Facebook, but he's got a website. It's just knife-wood.com, and that guy, even with everything going on, I ordered these blocks 2 weeks. And every single one of the blocks is individually wrapped. I don't know if y'all watched Aaron over Alien Knives, his videos, but he shows how it's packaged. They're individually wrapped in the almost like butcher block or butcher paper with his label on it. He hand ties every single one of them, but each block is individually wrapped, and then he sends them all to you in a box and everything. But yeah, I've got a ton of wood from him, and I've been buying stabilized blocks for 3 years now, and it's the first ones that I can cut into and not have to worry about there being a void or some random thing that I'm going to have to use CA glue on to repair a spot or whatever it is. And it's hard to find that. A lot of people make really good blocks, but a lot of them are doing it at their house with chambers that, are, explosions waiting to happen. And if you show him one of those chambers, the first thing he does is lecture you. Because he's like super particular about how he stabilizes and having the right machinery and having the right process to make sure that you don't kill yourself or something like that. And it's cool. He's a good guy.
And every block of his I've seen has been vibrant, and like the colors are just like they're like you want to just eat it like a piece of watermelon.
And it's stabilized through and through.
And the blocks look like polished and like they're clean, and it's like it's a work of art on its own that you're receiving, that you're about ready to deface and turning it into another piece of work of art. He's good stuff, man, good stuff. And I can't wait to order some stuff from him because I've seen Aaron's videos, of him, posting and giving him shout outs, doing the unboxing and the unwrapping with the butcher paper and the wood boxes, and it's beautiful stuff. The presentation, like it's top notch.
Give us his website again so that we've got it for our listeners.
Knifewood.com.
It's Yeah, www.knife-wood.com. And the blocks are like, they're good prices. They're not super expensive. And
are they shipping from Russia? Are they shipping from Russia?
Yeah,
oh, cool.
Yeah, so basically they come in and then they get shipped from there to here. So they'll come in to America and then get shipped to you from that spot.
You know, this world's so full of wonderful people, artists, you know, business people, just whatever. And I really hope that these stupid leaders in the world don't do anything to screw up.
I think eBay took him out. I'm looking at it on eBay right now. That's where I got my blocks from him. And he's there's nothing there.
Eric, did he ever resolve like how he was taking payment? It's been a while since I ordered from him.
Yeah, yeah, because you can just go through the website now and use PayPal.
Knife-wood.com.
Yeah, and you can still use all the regular stuff. Use PayPal, use regular cards, do any of that stuff. I ordered these, I guess, about a month ago, and got them a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, it's pretty easy to get stuff from him now. I feel sorry for him because, you know, he has nothing to do with anything like that going on over there, but he's still having to deal with it. And you know, you can't
like Sharap on YouTube.
Russia as a whole is horrible, you know, just because their leader's a moron. But it's just
okay, Putin. We didn't say that. Eric Rivers did. If you're sending over any bottled water for him to drink,
it probably came from California.
I don't even know the guy personally. I'm just, you know. But you're exactly right.
Yeah, my thing is, you know, just like we always try and do, it's supporting the people who are just small companies making really good quality stuff. And that's one of the best parts about knife making is, you know, there's a bunch of people that make really good quality stuff, and they are not big businesses. Most of these companies are anywhere between 1,000 square foot shop all the way up to maybe 5,000 square foot shops. But, you know, a lot of these guys are not, you know, having multiple warehouses across America and the world. A lot of them are small companies that you need to be able to support because they really do really good pricing for a lot of people in the knife making world. Steel, even though it's gone up a little bit in price, it's still not that expensive. You know, just like we said with pops and stuff like that, you know, you can get really good steel for a really good price as long as you just keep supporting them and making sure they don't, you know, wither away and fade into nothingness because people aren't supporting those businesses.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys, how much you like leaf spring steel, but I did see a new website come up here recently. It's called rejectedleafsprings.com, and they've got some really good deals. Stuff comes out of Laurel, Maryland, but I'm going to order some.
I knew where this was going.
Yeah. Who's the owner of that shop?
I don't know, but I know who the quality assurance guy is back in the leaf spring inspection department. But hey, it's really good stuff. Nothing wrong with that steel. In best of shape, and it comes right to you. You're gonna have to place an order.
And
Remember
if you act
that.
Now, you get some Pintos sauce.
Yeah, rejectedleafsprings.com, and you'll get a signed photo of the Pintos sauce connoisseur. So.
Yeah, one day I'll let people know what the Pinto sauce is.
All right.
Secretly.
Talking about Pinto sauce, I've been experimenting myself.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah.
How do you go?
Well, not with the Pinto sauce, but with some different sauce.
Okay.
Yep. So
you break in the Tabasco plant down there, and you're quenching in Tabasco.
Dude, you've been following me?
I love the Tabasco plant.
Down in Avery Island?
Yeah.
You been there?
I have. I've got, and also a guy I work with, his brother-in-law is a bigwig down there. So.
Oh, who's that?
I'm not going to mention his name on the air, but I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, man.
Hey, guys, what was your source of inspiration when you first decided to make knives? You know, many go to the books and also some go to the web, but many also head to YouTube for videos. Well, you know, we are fortunate enough to have Eric Rivers from the Rivers Experience as a co-host on the Knives Templars. But you know what? He's also a sponsor. And I tell you, 27,000 followers can't be wrong in following his skilled and educational regular videos that teach the fine arts of making beautiful knives. I know because I'm a subscriber to his channel and I learned at my pace and without making those mistakes by walking in the dark regarding knife making. Be sure and check out his channel, The Rivers Experience, on YouTube or his website at theriversexperience.com. And now back to our show.
So Eric, the last little hidden thing you made with the antler and the piece of wood, beautiful, man.
Talking
beautiful.
to Eric, you're right about that?
Beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful, you know.
Well, thank you. I'm happy with
it
how
came
it
out
turned out.
better. It came out better than I thought it would because the way you did it, the handle construction. You know, you glued the antler to the wood before you actually put it in there. So I was afraid you were going to have to remove a lot of the texturing from the antler, but that came out really, really nice. That transition there, wow, really, really nice. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I was definitely happy with how that turned out. It was the reason why I didn't use the 2x72 for a lot of it and I switched to the hand files was just making sure that I only removed as much material as necessary to make it all match. And then once I got it comfortable, I only was using, I went 400, 600 grit. So it took a little bit longer, but just making sure that it was just smooth enough to where there is zero feeling of anything in that transition. It feels like one piece, yet I still have some of the texture
looks like
there.
one piece.
Yeah,
Except for the different color, but it looks like one piece. That transition from the wood to the antler was really, really nice.
Yeah, you can see that video on the Rivers Experience on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So, Eric, you finished with that particular knife, and it's gorgeous. So hopefully people go over there and click on the videos tab so they can go down and look at them in order of them being produced and take a look at that. But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful hidden tang with antler and wood built into it. But you've also been working. We're talking about tools. You're building a beautiful new tool right now, and it's your big giant toolbox. It's out next to your 12-foot building. How's that coming along? You laying any wood down on that concrete yet?
No, not yet. I've been trying to. I'll tell you, I wish that I had an architect because trying to merge two shops together and them not being perfectly square to each other. So the 12x12 was put onto the pad that it's on right now, but it's not perfectly square to the shop that I'm building, and I'm building that shop square to the pad. So I'm going to have about 3 inches of difference spread across 12 feet that I've got to make even on a roof line. And then, just making sure that everything works right and making sure that my roof is sturdy enough so that I can walk on it and shingle it and do all that. And without having to do a whole bunch of extra like trusses and all this stuff, because I want the roof line, not really the roof line, but how you would have rafters, joists, all that stuff going through your roof that typically sit on the top plates of your walls.
Yeah.
My walls are only going to be about 7 feet, and I don't want them to be as low as like what y'all can't really see what I'm pointing at, but they can, as low as the ones that I have in my current 12x12, because I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not a very tall person, but whenever you have things that are only like 6'5" above you, and then trying to put lights up above that or onto that, it brings the lighting really low. And I'm trying to make sure that I can bring my lights as high as possible, because the higher they are, I wouldn't say the higher they are away from you, but I don't want them to have super bright spots in particular locations. I want it to kind of drown the shop with light.
You have a more spread of lumens.
Yeah,
from your space.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out the best way to do it to where it's safe. And what I'm probably going to end up doing is just building a temporary false wall underneath and having that up there. So once I get done doing the shingles and everything, I can pull the temporary wall down, and nobody's really going to be up there after that. And if I want to go back up there, I can always put a temp wall back up. It's not that big of a deal.
You don't want to put a shiny pole right there in the middle? Put spoil on it?
just a good.
You get that 14 million views. Come on.
How long is the span, Eric? How long is that span?
The roof is going to be from end to end 26 and a half, and then from width it's going to be about 15 and a half feet. So I'm going to have 2x6s is what I'm going to use for the more or less the rafters. I'm going to use 2x6s for that instead of 2x4s, so that I have a little bit more
absolutely,
it's a little bit more sturdy. So, and then I'm using a 3/4 inch ply for the roof.
Are you going to anchor anything down into the You going to anchor anything down in the concrete?
All the walls, every single one of the walls.
Just the walls. I mean, any of your equipment or anything?
Nope.
I hope the walls.
Well, the reason I was wondering, did you see that final scene?
He gets tornadoes over there.
I was thinking, that final scene in Twister, that when it comes over, you can take a belt and tie yourself to something laid down and just look up through the middle of the tornado.
Nah.
You see Eric grinding.
Everything's fine. I'll just move everything into the storm cellar, because I have a massive storm cellar that's just on the other side of my shop that is 12 feet by 12 feet with 10-inch or 10-foot tall walls. It's a pretty big storm cellar. I can just put all my tools down there. And
why in the world are you building a shop? You've got a basement shop.
Right? Art of craftsmanship, isn't that what he does? Well, he's in a basement. Yeah. He's got rope lights and stuff.
I've already planned on that. I've got a extension that's coming off the other side of the shop. That's going to be another extension, and you'll be able to walk down into the storm cellar from inside the shop.
I can see Ghost Adventures 2042, and they'll be going through, and this is the tunnel where Eric used to walk through, and he's probably haunting it now. So. What do you think, Aaron?
You can still hear the hammer clinging.
Did you see that orb? That was Eric's orb.
It smells like grinder dust.
That's awesome. But yeah, it's going to be a blast. I can't wait to start building it, but it has been doing my math and making sure that everything lines up right, and it's just it still has to be safe, but it has to also make sense for how I'm going to film and everything like that. And I've already got a lot of the measurements figured out, so that I know exactly how much wood I need to buy, so that I feel like I know exactly how much wood I'm going to buy, but that doesn't mean that's exactly how much wood I'm going to need.
How are you going to air condition that space?
So with doors. So that one's going to have doors, and then the main shop that I'm in right now is going to have central heat and air. I'm going to be all bougie with it. So the 12 by 12, I'm doing a foam insulating the whole entire thing, sheetrocking it, and then I'm putting a actual AC unit outside of it with one of the ones that kind of you'll see in some places where it's up higher on the wall. And
the mini split.
I don't know
a split system,
the mini split.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's cool.
I'm going to be doing that so that this area, whenever I'm doing leather work and stuff like that, because this is going to be completely clean. There's not going to be a single grinder in here. There's not going to be anything that creates dust in this particular shop. So for whenever we're doing things like the podcast, or whenever we're doing my editing for my YouTube videos or leather work, or also I'm keeping all the steel in here and the stuff that I don't want to be getting much of surface rust and stuff like that on it.
You need to get some of that Elon Musk Starlink in that shop you're in.
You're talking about having an opening with those slats, those plastic slats? to separate the two?
So what I'm going to end up having actually is I'm just doing. I was originally going to do an opening, but because all I technically have to do is just walk out the front door and over 4 feet and go into the other shop, I'm just going to leave that as the opening, and there's going to be a complete wall with a 3 foot by 6 foot window, so where you can see inside the other shop. It's not so much for anything, that's beneficial other than the fact that it lets more light into the other shop. And if my, kiddos or my wife want to be in the AC and watch me forge, or if I have people come over and do stuff, they can be inside the comfort of the, constant 70-degree area while I'm out there in the 110-degree area.
Oh, wow. That's going to be kind of like the Jack Daniels distillery tour. People can come out and watch you behind glass.
Or like the gun range.
You want to charge tickets?
This is Eric.
Well,
I'm going to be selling chicken.
Watch him grind.
Don't
feed the Eric. Don't feed the Eric.
$10 an hour. Show starts at 5 p.m.
Make sure you hire somebody like. So here we got Eric Rivers forging.
Yeah.
In the wild.
Oh, looky there. It's Eric Rivers.
I plan on
Poke
doing
him with a stick.
I plan on
Look,
doing.
he's
a few,
filming an episode of the
classes.
Rivers Experience.
Nah, I plan on doing a few local classes for people that want to get into knife making. Teach them how to make a knife, or forging skills and just grinding skills and stuff like that. I've done it a couple of times, and had friends go from a piece of leaf spring all the way to a full-blown knife and everything, and it's going to be a cool little setup to be able to teach and to be able to do things like that. And that was the whole goal behind it, just making sure that people
Just so you know, when you get to that, you may want to contract with the Knives Templars security and parking service. We'll be able to come over there and run your parking lot and bounce any people out of there we need to. So, I've got a cattle prod.
But
I'm not
in my
afraid to use it.
experience, people will learn best when they're right there next to you, getting hit with the sparks from the anvil, okay?
Yeah.
Don't have them all cushy in an air conditioning area, okay? They have to be right there next to you. This is what it feels when you have your
burn
forge on.
yourself.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I can see Chris Jones right now with a circular saw, and we've got some guy that had broke in and was watching for free, and Chris is like, you a knife maker? And he's like, yeah, man. He goes, are you right or you left-handed? And guy says, right-handed. And then the next thing you know, he's taking a rounding hammer and breaking his hands and saying, go show your friends this. Y'all did see the movie Casino, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, Chris,
awesome.
you've been you haven't made knives in about a month, you said, but are you using your Broadbeck belt grinder, or are you using a disc grinding disc to do your work?
No, I've got my Broadbeck. I use my disc grinder. I've got a Fear PHEER. I've got a Fear disc grinder that I got back at the beginning of the year. Yeah. And I use it mainly for flattening handle material. It's really great at that. And then, or like I had one that was I had an Alabama Damascus knife that, for whatever reason, it worked like a banana. Right. I haven't had that problem with most of them. I didn't get it in the vise fast enough, and I ended up going through 5 temper cycles, like over bending it the other direction before I finally got it mostly straight, but then had a little kick in the tang that I just couldn't get out. So I decided to make it have a little bit of a tapered tang, and did a lot of that on the disc grinder. And so that straightened it out a little bit. But I'll also use it on anything that I forge. I'll throw the tang on that to make sure I'm not getting any gapping or spacing. And then sometimes on the bevels, I'll use it just to kind of clean it up and see if I'm flat, right? I mean, if you're doing a flat grind and you throw it on a a disc grinder like that, you're going to find out real quick how good your grinds are and if you've got, little imperfections. But I tell you what, though, I thought about originally getting one. I'll just go get like the big 12-inch one at Harbor Freight. Problem is that then you got to get special sandpaper for it because it won't take a regular,
disc.
8x11. I don't even use the disc. I use Rhino Wet red label or red Rhino Wet red, and I just take a little bit of it's this paste from 3M. I can't think of the name of it. Feathering paste, and I'll put that on the disc and then stick a piece of regular sandpaper and then come in from the backside and use a utility knife and cut it flush, and then now I've got little scraps for hand sanding. Works really well. But I tell you what, the problem with those ones that you might see at Harbor Freight, other than the size of all of it, is, again, they're like Chip's grinder, right? It's like the Dremel of disc grinders, and they're going to go really fast, and you can't slow them down.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have one. That's
yeah. So
you have a
mine,
VFD on yours?
Yeah, I do. I'd never run it over 30%. I don't know that I've ever run it faster than 30%.
Do you have more?
Has a reverse.
Do you have more control in defining that line where when you're making your grind and that top where you go back to the flats? When I'm running full out on my 2x72 or 2x42, which its days are numbered. Meaning I got a big one coming in soon. But I have to be very, very careful to make sure I don't get the smiley face or the,
Yeah, personally, I don't like those hard, crisp grind lines as much, right? Where I'm transitioning between the bevel and the flats. I like that smoothed out a little bit. So a lot of times I use, I do a belt finish and I, transition with a Scotch-Brite, and I like that smooth look, right? To me, it just has this, nice, clean. I've got a friend that's an architect, and he always told me that if he had it his way, there'd be no straight lines. So everything he wants is curves, and I just like that curved, brushed look to all of mine.
And you get that with your finishing and Scotch-Brite belt.
Yep, absolutely. So I can sit there and especially on like a chef knife, I definitely don't want any bevel lines on a chef knife. So I'm fading that, even that plunge line, right? There's not even a plunge line. I'm fading that back in with a softer platen and my belts, and then working up to the Scotch-Brite to just kind of blend it all in.
Well, I'm getting the ceramic belt kit, and I think it's 3 belts. I'm going to get 2 kits when I order the Amera braid. And it's got a finishing belt in it. Where do you guys suggest I get my what do you name it?
The Scotch-Brite?
Scotch-Brite belt.
Oh, I get mine from Phoenix.
Phoenix, okay.
Yeah, Phoenix also has. So one thing I'll tell you as you start to order, and you'll notice that you'll get a lot more options with 2x72 than the 2x42.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And so every time you order from Phoenix, just throw in one belt that you've never used. Right, like
it's a good idea.
Go grab a green, lubed 220 belt, or go grab a. They've got some cork belts that are already loaded with compound. Grab one of those. A leather stropping belt, man, that'll clean up. Help finish things off when you're putting your edge on. But yeah, grab one belt that you've never used. Try it, see if you like it, and then order more. That's the beauty of Phoenix versus some of these other manufacturers, where they'll make you have a minimum where you've got to buy 6 of the same belt. Yeah. Phoenix is, hey, let me buy one, let me try it, see if I like it, and go from there. That's how I stumbled upon scalloped 1-inch belts for handles, and
that's what I was going to ask. I've never used one. I've never used a scallop belt before. What do you? That doesn't cut into your handle as bad on the edges like a flat belt would?
Yeah, it won't cut in at all. They make a 2-inch scalloped. I personally don't care for those as much because I'm working it with the handle. So I'll take my handles and they're nice and flat, and I've worked around the spine and the tang, and then I'll come back and knock the edges off a little bit, and then come back with those scalloped belts, and I'll do it without a platen, so I've got like a slack on the scallop. And really kind of, I'll start with a 120 and then work my way up to a 220 and a 320. And then I go straight into hand sanding the handles at 400.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. So as far as a disc sander goes, I see some of these guys. Oh, go ahead.
So one of the things.
Get back up off the floor. Okay, now you're back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of showing y'all in the background here. So I've got a whole entire set of belts that go from 120 to 400 that you actually can get from Broadbeck and a few other, they're basically VSM and different things like that. But these are the ones that are fabric on the back. They're not, what you typically have.
It's not the paper.
Not the paper. And I love these because you don't have like that big old bump in them. But this particular belt that you can get, man, like, so whenever you were talking about, Chris, when you were talking about having that smooth plunge line and all of those things, I'll use these particular belts. And people see them every once in a while on the YouTube channel. I don't get to focus that much on this particular part of it because, you got to make a video like 15 minutes, so certain things get kind of edited out. But these belts that are soft and really pliable like that, I'll hang them off of one of my edges. So on my platens, I've got a couple of different platens. I've got, of course, my platens that are sharp edged, and I've got platen that has a radiused edge to where it's slightly rounded, and I'll do an overlap of the belt, and I'll sit there and I'll feather my plunge lines in. For one, y'all will hardly ever see me do a 90-degree plunge line. Almost every single plunge line that I do are always angled because I like,
I do too. I like the look of it.
I don't like, it's whenever you have those 90-degree lines on a curvy knife, it just kind of breaks up the flow a little bit for me. Not saying it's a bad thing. That's not a personal preference for me. But I'll use these belts and I'll sit there and I'll feather in that plunge line. And you got to be careful with that because if you're not paying attention to it, you can easily put a crazy divot into your blade. And so it's taking your time, getting comfortable with where you're standing and everything like that. But yeah, I'll overhang the belt.
those fabric ones, that's the P Flex, right? Because you got your normal J Flex, and then those are the P Flex. They're even lighter and more flexible than the J's.
You mentioned something that caught my ear, talking about the different platens you have. So with this 2x42 and with the 1x30s that I've had, I've always bought glass platens and installed them on there because the platens that come with them are insufficient. So these hardened platens that are coming on the Broadbecks, on the Ameribraid, on the brands that you have, Origin and so on, you're not putting glass platens on there, are you?
I don't have a glass on mine. You can add it. Broadbeck will sell the glass. I actually bought the glass and then realized later, as I was attaching it with some, I was putting some JB Weld on.
Tape.
JB Weld, and I screwed some. I put the screw in. I didn't realize that the screw was slightly too long, and it actually cracked the glass platen. I have a love-hate relationship with glass platens. When I had my 2x42, I had to have it because it was just that cheap,
rounded over, cheap metal,
rounded over. But there's I love them because they take the heat away, right? But also you're constantly fighting static electricity, and you shock yourself all the time. I feel like I need to be grounded.
Let me tell you, with deer antler, I walk in and my hair is standing up.
Yep.
I look like I've been taking amphetamines, and I'm just buzzing because
I'll be grinding and I accidentally touch something, and it's like and I'm shocking. I'm like, this. And it took me a while to figure out that it has the platen.
I don't even have to touch anything. I can be like an inch away, and I'll watch the sparks jump off and grab my butt.
What I would do is when I'm grinding, I usually have my knee touching a metal piece.
But you don't wear clothes when you make knives. So.
My grinding stand.
His knee is touching.
Yeah.
Air quotes.
So, as I'm grinding, I can feel electricity just jumping out of my knee into my stand. It's especially wintertime where I'm
Oh yeah, when it
really-
gets dry up north, yeah.
Yep.
He's got a secret maker's mark.
Dude,
handle
when
it.
I
I
lived,
don't have to worry
Mushroom
about
stamp.
I don't have to worry about the dry in Houston very often. So,
yeah,
but I'll occasionally, if I'm ordering something from Broadbeck, I'll have them throw in another, metal platen, just to replace it. I don't know that they're hardened, but they will kind of develop a divot over time. I'll take that machinist square, right, or my 1, 2, 3
Yeah.
block, and check it and look down and see. You can also kind of see as the sparks, if you're getting sparks coming off both sides of your platen, not the middle, you've kind of worn a divot. But then I'll keep those, and I'll put leather on one. I've got an old Scotch-Brite belt on one. I've got some industrial wool that has actually held up really, really well. I thought it would just disintegrate, but it holds up, so I can almost simulate a radius platen. But next time I order a new one, I'll probably end up getting another piece of the glass.
yeah.
I'm always afraid,
So
though, that
this
glass is going
brings up a
to
good
come
point, though.
off.
Yeah, so with what you're saying right there, a lot of people don't realize that the platens are a thing that we replace. A lot of them think you get a 2x72 and you're done. But we replace our platens. That is something that you need to be, if you want everything to stay square and be how it's supposed to be, you can take your platen and use it how it's going to be used, and then you could flip it and use it again
Yep.
if you want to do that, and use that material and then put something on it like Chris said, and then don't be afraid to order a new platen. Those are things that
I'll
get
turn it
worn
upside
out.
down.
Something
It's like
to expect.
it's like what Matt does with his underwear, right? He turns them wrong side out and then puts them front to back. And you can get 4 days out of one pair of underwear.
I love Big Hero 6. It's a good movie.
Hey, I'll tell you,
Marvelous.
that I didn't mention that I was actually going to buy 2 extra platens and just throw them in my toolbox, in sealed oil containers, in oil. So yeah, I had already considered that being a wear part. I don't think I'll make any glass right away, and I've always built a metal shelf for my glass platen to rest on, and I actually used double-sided carpet tape to attach them. Never had one come apart or break or anything, but I figured I was not going to do one because I'm going to actually have a hardened platen now, and like I said, I'll just have a couple backups for whenever I need them, whether it's a year or 5 years or whatever it is. I'm sure it'll be more than less than 5 years, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're lucky.
the platen that I have right now I think it's HU hardened steel, and it's starting to show a little bit of a divot in there, and I have to I'll do the flipping.
How long you had it?
Man, I don't know. It's a long time. This HU hardened steel it lasts way longer.
So I mean, you've had it more than a couple
the
years.
original platen that came with it. The
More
plat- the-
than a couple years.
Well, I haven't done working for a long time, right? So, I can't really say how long it will last, but it's done all right for me.
Yeah.
So I have to order me a new one, but the one that I've got now, I can do the
Flippity floppity
trick.
flew.
Yeah. And squeeze a little bit of life out of it still.
Yeah.
There's a
But
knife
yeah,
maker.
you will definitely need, if yours come with the soft cold rolled steel,
No,
hot
it's
rolled
a
steel,
hardened
whatever.
it's a hardened platen that comes on it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there's a maker out there. I think it's Little Bear Knives.
That's
That
where I bought my
actually-
glass.
Yeah, and he'll sell the safety shelf as well.
Yeah, I made my safety shelf when
I made mine too. And on that 2x42 with the flex that was on the other one, I used JB Weld to attach it. But with the flex, I was so afraid that glass was just going to come sliding right off.
Yeah. On the 1x30s, I bought his shelf, and he makes wonderful little package there to install. It's easy to install, great instructions. And he's got some really nice knives that he's making. I think he exclusively uses 1x30s, or he's a real big proponent of 1x30s. And hey, there's nothing wrong with them. Just a different way of grinding. But I got my 2-inch platens for this 2x42 from another gentleman, and I can't remember it, but he didn't come with a shelf, so used some old 3/8 and made my own and installed it.
yeah, the problem with them 1x30s is just that it takes forever.
Gotta have patience.
Forever. I ground a few. I had this little 1x30. Oh man, you gotta have some
That's
patience too.
dedication
Yeah.
too, right?
Listen
Yes.
to a little Axl Rose. Oh, it needs a
Yeah, I
little
mean a lot better
patience.
than hand filing it, but still, I mean once you jump into a into a
Doesn't
big 2x72 or what you have now, the 48, yeah, it's yeah. There is no comparison. Nah.
doesn't the Art Craftsmanship still use a 1x30? Is he?
No, he built. He's
No,
got. He built
he's
a
got a
2x72.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I think. Does he have a house-made grinder now? Did he build that one? I can't recall.
Yeah, man. Those
I'm
are
not
nice
sure if it was
grinders.
homemade, but it's somebody he knows. It's not a. I may be wrong, but I don't think it's a big brand name. But I do believe it's a single speed grinder, but not knocking it. The guy makes some really beautiful stuff.
Sure does.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
got one
mean,
of
having the really nice tools is excellent. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love my Tuba 72, but a lot of the things that we do, like Chris and Joey and Chip, and the things that we do, a lot of it comes from these tools right here, from our hands, right? The the lightest belt that I use is a 120. After that is all hand sanded all the way to the finish that I want. Sometimes I'll put a mirror finish in there, and it's all hand sanded. I actually enjoy a little bit of the hand sanding. Kind of, it is a distressing, removes stress for me. Takes me some time. Some people love it. Chris is shaking his head there.
I just like hand sanding because it gives me an opportunity to go out and purchase some sanding juice.
But yeah,
sanding juice.
the most important tools that we have is right here, in our hands.
You don't use
So-
sanding juice, Joey?
I'm guessing that's alcohol.
You teetotaler. It's like I probably drink 3 or 4 beers a week, and every one of my knife photos has got some beer in the background. That's like, this guy needs he needs an intervention, but it just
So-
happens.
If you're starting now, don't be afraid to just go for it. Don't be caught up. Oh, I need to get a 2x72, and I need this, and I need the other, and this latest oven and stuff, right? Just start. Just get it started.
Make your mistakes.
Just do it. Just do something, right? Just
'Cause
start
they're gonna
something.
I'm actually going to take my 2x42 and my 1x30. I'm going to keep. I've got a 1x30 that's still in the box, and I'm going to keep it in my shop because they're nice little machines for certain things, and I've also got a ton of belts for it that I haven't used. That I've had the belts for over a year, but I'm actually going to donate my 1x30 and my oscillating sander to somebody that wants to make knives, and let them get started from there. Number one, free up some stuff in the shop and give somebody else an
fresh
opportunity. Yeah. So I'll be doing something with that here in the next month or so.
One of
That's
the first knives that I ever made, I used strictly an angle grinder, all on an angle grinder. Had no idea
Were you
what I
wearing
was doing.
Were you wearing flip flops and a robe?
Yes.
Okay.
I had no idea what I was doing. I saw something I liked. I said, "Let me try," and I started with an angle grinder,
Wow.
and I went all the way through with that thing. I got inspired by that tracker knife from the movie The Hunted.
No way, not you.
Dude.
So
yeah.
I made my interpretation of that knife, right? It looks like a chopping turd. It was horrible, ugly knife. Okay, I
Turd
was able
chopper?
It's a
yeah,
sharp
turd
piece.
chopper. I was able to go through some evergreen branches and stuff. No heat treat, nothing like that. Okay, I just picked up a piece of leaf spring and I went to town with an angle grinder.
So what you're
yes,
saying is you've been
you can
carving.
start. You can start from nothing.
You've been carving little wooden friends here lately because you're a lonely guy. So are you telling me that you're going to be doing full-blown cigar Indians here in the next couple of years as you continue to expand? Cigar store Indians?
Who knows? I don't know. Who knows?
Hey, y'all know the song Kalijah?
Oh yeah, Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah, that wooden Indian's right here in the state of Alabama. So
Is it?
It is.
Hank's from Alabama.
Yeah, yeah, he's from the original Hank's down from Montgomery. Anyway, you're ever in Atlanta or Alabama, you can go see Kalijah sitting in a restaurant down in southeast Alabama.
Majestic Forge is owned and operated by Brian and Kayla Horn in Rushville, Ohio. With many years of experience manufacturing 2 to 5 burner gas forges, Majestic Forge is your #1 source for blacksmith forges, farrier forges, and specialty forges. They are dedicated to creating top-of-the-line forges at a price you can afford. Majestic Forge has supplied forges to blacksmith schools, high schools, colleges, production shops, and TV shows such as Mythbusters. And Majestic Forge is the forge of choice for televisions forged in fire. Knife makers are in luck as they offer forges that come with 2 or 3 deluxe burners. Here at Knives Templars, we are sure that you can find a USA-made Majestic Forge to suit your needs. Check out your next forge at majesticforge.com.
Eric, you've been falling off the information superhighway here. You doing all right? You got yourself firmly buckled back in? Yeah, we've been watching Eric kind of drop on and off the screen. So, guys, we got about 10 minutes left in this. What's going to be coming up? What's coming up in your lives?
Well, I drew a new knife, and I put it in the group. I think I'm going to be working on that knife. Inspired by the SOG knife company. I really love those knives that they make. It's one of the first knives that I bought, and I still have it, and I kind of modeled after that one. I put my own spin on it, the handle and the blade, and I'll be working on it shortly. Yeah, I really like the way that profile came out, and you made a little something with my little sticky friend here and put it in the group there. So yeah, thank you for that. Very interesting.
Oh, is that the drawing of the plank holding the knife? Yeah.
Yeah. Right there.
That is a good.
Right here.
You know, if I can mess with you, anytime I see an opportunity to mess with somebody, just don't ever take it personal and
Nope.
beat me up.
Nothing.
I roll over quickly and play dead. I'm a possum.
So yeah. I'll try to get started on the knife on Sunday. This last piece that I finished, I was able to finish this. I will probably be taking that to Blade Show just to walk around and see what happens.
When are you going to get down?
People with it?
You going to drive down Thursday or Friday?
I'll be driving down there on Thursday morning. I'll be getting there around, I don't know. It's an 11-hour drive for me.
You bringing the family or just yourself?
My wife and son are coming, yeah.
Oh, cool. When you see me, do not run up and hug me in public.
Don't worry about it.
And if you feel the need to, just make it a side man hug, okay? Like, hey, good to see you. None of this full frontal body, hold on for an extra few seconds and all.
Kiss him on both cheeks, Otis here.
Well, that can be considered,
Slap him
okay.
on,
But if you kiss me on both cheeks, you got to hold your arms out firmly, and keep me at a distance and reach in, kiss, and be done.
Italian Godfather thing,
Give him a big old hug and give him a squeeze.
See, I told Eric I'd give him a big hug, so I didn't want you to be first, Otis here. But I am looking forward to seeing you. I so am.
I wish I could make it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm
timing for me.
bringing my buddy Cody Hood. He's my backpacking buddy, and when you see him, he's a mule. And I always take him backpacking because if I ever drop, dead or almost dead in the forest, I always know that he'll take me out. He says, he'd probably say, "I'll just let the coyotes eat you and take your gear." But I also know he's got a big heart. So y'all enjoy meeting him. And so he and I are going to get together probably around 5 a.m. on, which would be 6 a.m. in Atlanta, Saturday morning, and drive over and spend Saturday during the day and Sunday and drive back home that night.
Yeah,
That's what
I'm
I've got
planning to
going
make
besides Flushers.
a long weekend out of it. I'll be driving out Thursday morning, and I'll be driving back this way on Monday morning, because I want to spend all 3 days there, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I really don't want to be driving at night, especially an 11-hour drive.
Yeah.
So probably going to stay there, Sunday night, and hop on the car Monday morning. And
Well, let's make sure that we meet up and able to go over and see. I know Andy Roy mentioned that he's going to be working with Ameribraid doing some demonstrations over at their booth. So, we sponsor Pops and Ameribraid, so I'd like to have an opportunity to shake some hands and see what he has to show.
Chip and Eric, is anybody else coming? Are you coming, Joey? Chris?
No, I won't be able to make it. It's bad timing for me. So.
Okay. So
You got
I
baseball,
guess it's gonna
man.
be just the
Baseball,
the
I got a lot of
Musketeers,
stuff going on.
Yeah, just be the three of you.
Eric, what do you? You're coming over. So, are you going to be driving the sports car? Or are you bringing the family wagon?
Nah, I'm bringing the sports car.
What was the family wagon called in Family Vacation?
Man, that thing was awesome though. The one that they got the wood paneling and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the green one with the wood panel.
A few years ago, we were driving down to the beach, and somebody had a mannequin with a gray wig on it, rolled up, sitting on top of their car.
Yes.
Like from Grandma Died in that movie. Anyway, so you're driving the sports car over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave Thursday, probably around, I don't know, probably noon, and then drive there. It's 14 hours for me, so I'm gonna drive 5 hours, rest a little bit, drive 5 hours, rest a little bit, then finish it up, and I'll be there. So I have a different pass. If I was to have gone with y'all, I would have had to have waited in line, but actually I don't have to do that. So I got a pass from one of course, Dennis's guests. So from Tyrell Knife Works, and I get to go in an hour early, and I don't have to wait in the line, and I get to go in an hour early each day. So that'll be pretty cool. And so I just
And you're only drinking Stella Artois while you're there?
I probably won't be drinking at all until the evenings.
Gotcha.
But I am looking forward to seeing y'all, because I'm not driving back until Sunday evening. So hopefully, I get to go out and eat a couple of times with the old Otis here.
Good
and,
deal.
Hang out. That'd be cool.
Some steak.
Well, if you see me, I'll be wearing a gold lame two-piece suit with the Knives Templars shirt underneath it, red, and occasionally I open it up. But I couldn't get the gold lame shoes, so I've just got a pair of black studded Harley Davidson biker boots. But I do have the gold lame suit, so you'll see me shining in the crowd. They didn't want to stand out too much.
I am really looking for that. What is the etiquette there, Eric? Have you been to Blade Show before?
Just walk up,
What
pick
is
up a
the
knife,
etiquette
look at it,
what's
throw it
the,
back down, go to the next table, repeat.
And tell them everything that
so-
you would do. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Do
be
not
sure and
listen to
tell them
Chip.
everything you would do to make that knife better.
Don't.
So
Listen to
that-
Chip.
And drop pinto sauce. You didn't use pinto sauce on this.
there's definitely people like Chris has had a booth at this, and people have had booths at this, but at different shows. But I've been going to knife shows for 20 years. But it's before I started making them, it was as a collector. Then but a lot of the guys are gonna tell you, pick up the knife, hold the knife, look at the knife. They're going to tell you over and over and over again, yeah, pick it up. Yeah, here, hold it. And that way you can actually check them out and do all that stuff. And
Keep your fingers off the blades. I mean, keep your fingers off the metal. Hold it by the handle.
Yeah.
Hold it by the handle. Of course, a lot of them have oil with them, and they'll keep their blades oiled and all that stuff. But
And do not polish their knives with your T-shirt.
with your shirt. No, don't do
Yeah.
that.
They'll take care of that.
And do not touch your finger to the edge of every single frickin' knife.
That's
for
the
one,
worst.
It's not sanitary because you get a whole bunch of other people's, crap
DNA.
on your hands and risk cutting your hand open, and don't do that. So
That's why you have eyeballs, people.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
at 'em.
I'll put gauze around each, like 3 or 4 of my fingers, and put red dye on them like they're actively bleeding, and then walk up to a guy. Can I see? I like that one. Can I touch that one? Just see the expression on their face.
That's awesome.
No, when you get
but
people
yeah,
that come and I would say ask the maker. If they don't say go ahead pick them up, ask the maker, can I pick one up to take a look at it? General customers that come by, and they're sitting there and they're, they all want to run their thumb across the blade, or I've actually had one that tried to shave hair off his arm, and it's like, no, moron, I'm going to make a sharp knife, right? Like, you don't have to sit there and test my edge live. However he had it sitting, put it back the same way. If he had where the tip's pointing to the left, put it down the same way. He had it that way for a reason. Don't set it the other direction. Don't move it to a different part of the table. Some knife makers get pretty picky if other makers come up and start looking at their knives and really start inspecting them. Like looking down the spine, and they want to see, or they're looking down the edge, or they're, lining it all up, because you're basically now critiquing somebody's knife right in front of them. So, look at the knife, admire the knife, feel the handle. I would say try to pick up as many knives as you can that have different looking handles, where it's like, that doesn't look comfortable.
Yep.
Pick it up and find out, because what you'll find is some people make, big bulky handles, some make nice and thin ones. And, I like to say that as I got better as a maker, I learned how to make comfortable, thinner handles, right? You default to a thicker, bigger, fatter handle because you're almost afraid to take away material, or I spent good money on that material, I don't want to sand part of it off, or I'm going to make a mistake that I can't recover from, and so you're like, that's good enough, and just leave it there. But pick up other people's handles and see what you'll see different styles that you've never held before, and you're like, oh, that's really comfortable, and then try to figure out how did they do that.
My last piece of advice, Otis, here, do you have a fedora?
No, I do not. My son's got one, yeah.
Well, borrow it, because what you want to do is take like a printout on like a card, press, and then get a pair of white cotton gloves and a little pad of paper and a pencil. And as you walk up to each person's knife, ask their name, where they're from, and then look at one of their knives and start writing stuff down. Just you want to you want to mess with people.
Also, make sure if you want to take a picture of a knife, ask ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Do not take a picture of somebody else's knife. And then, not that I think any of us would ever do it, but I'll throw this out there for anybody else. If you are a maker and you go to a show and you don't have a table, you are not allowed to sell. That's called brown bagging, and that will get you kicked out, and it'll get you banned. And at our last show, I had to have somebody escorted out because he had a he had a piece of paper on the front pinned to his shirt that said, "Ask me about," and it had like case knives, Benchmade. He basically had a bunch of used folders in a backpack, and he would go around to every maker's table and like talk to them, but he was willing to sell any of these knives right out of his backpack, and that's not cool, and that's prohibited at a lot of shows. So
Right,
as it
there's
should
an
be.
etiquette.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I was reading a little bit about Blade Show, and they say, okay, you can bring one large and one small knife with you to the show, but if you're not on a table or you don't have a setup, you're not allowed to sell it, even within the vicinity of Blade Show. Because it's taking business away from, say, Eric or Tyrell or anybody else who's actually, I don't know how much, but
Paying for a
guess
booth.
they
you're
pay good money
paying
for those
Yeah,
tables.
they're
at
paying their
Blade.
dues.
For a booth.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right? So,
I would also say if you're bringing one of your knives that you've made, if you see a maker that you have a lot of respect for, and you respect their work, they make high quality work, and they're not busy, right? I mean, don't do it if they've got 10 people up at the table, but if they're not busy, go up and ask them for honest feedback. You're not asking them to necessarily critique it, but just say honest feedback. What suggestion would you give me to make me a better knife maker?
Yeah, I'll have Eric and Chip fiddle this one.
Absolutely.
There you go. Hey, and always, regardless of you like their work or not, thank them for their time and thank them for being there.
It's their art.
Because that's what makes it successful and what makes it people keep coming back, or else we wouldn't have the event.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joey, what you got going on?
I got to make some knives. I got 2 fillet knives that I profiled that I need to make. Fillet knives, and I have some knives that are come out of water jet. So I'll be starting to work on those.
Good deal, man.
Just trying to make as many knives as I can before this show comes up.
And that's in September, right?
Yes.
I am coming to that as long as I'm not down at Orange Beach. What the dates are?
September.
I think it's September 12th or something.
Oh, good,
like
good. Okay, I won't be at Orange Beach until another week or two after that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to see you guys there. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Matt, what's going on in Colorado, man?
Oh, not much. We had a little heat spike today. Other than that, I'm just cooking in my garage with no fans, no AC or nothing like that.
What you got going on the next couple of weeks?
Next couple of weeks, probably back to leather.
Back
to leather. Joey has been inspiring me with all of his beautiful
dominatrix or leather whips, or what is it you're going to be doing?
If the wife was into that, I would be.
No, I was saying there's a market down in Key West. I mean, you could probably be sending your stuff down there. It's beautiful work that you're making. I actually like that little black leather policeman's hat kind of thing you make, but I'm not a big Village People kind of guy anymore. So, but it's cool. I'm sure you could sell it down there.
Oh yeah, I do the rich black dye on it, and you just do the eye holes, and even though the mouth is not cut open, you just do the stitching like there's still a mouth there. And it's,
bring out the gimp.
It's hard.
Do you guys follow any of these Facebook groups about leather crafting?
I do. I mean, Tandy and so on.
Yeah, well, there's one. I think it's like Facebook Leather Crafters or something, and there are guys that they will post that, and they'll make these head cages and all this like weird, freaky stuff, and they're like,
which one are those?
And it just happens occasionally, and you'll post it, and people are like, "What is this used for?" And he's like, "Yeah, if you don't know, then you don't
ask."
Like, don't
and
ask.
That's where I've seen some of that stuff there, and I'm like. And supposedly, I guess there's a big market for it in California, Southern California, and Key West, Florida, and Fire Island, New York. So,
Yeah.
It's like you never grew up watching HBO After Hours. I mean, come on.
Those specific cities.
No. Yeah. Why? I don't know. They, I guess San Francisco's on there as well, but
well, there you go, Matt. You need to market those cities.
Yeah,
right.
So that's why you're not making a living doing this in Colorado.
No.
But hey, it's cool because you've made 3 sheaths, and honestly, the sheaths that you made don't reflect somebody that's only made 3 sheaths. Everybody on here is so damn talented. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of the stuff you're putting out, along with your Village People line. So
your outfits.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So guys, that's a wrap. And next show we're gonna come back and we're gonna have a little bit to talk about because 3 of us will have been at Blade Show. We'll have some pictures to share and hopefully some silly stories about Pinto and Eric and me. And
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, and it's also episode number 10. They never said we'd make it to 10. We're only 90 away from the top one, the 100th episode. So, and we're also climbing up in the hobbies category for podcasts. So, let's keep doing what we're doing. We couldn't do without each one of you beautiful, lovely, handsome men. And you make me look good and sound good because I don't have the looks or the skill that you do. But everybody, thank you for listening. and we'll see you on the next episode, episode 10 of the Knives Templars.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Hasta la vista.
Baby.
All right, guys. Good show. Good show. So, the post show. So
there was something. Hold on, I wanted to add on the grinders. The one I had gotten from my brother, the 2x72. You probably can't see it 'cause it's back there, but the guy who made it for him.
Can't see it for all your beer cans.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm only 3, and I'm good. The guy doesn't make
3 Guinnesses though. 3 Guinnesses is like 8 normal beers.
I'm a big boy.
Do you see those man boobs?
You like my moves?
You're a B
Holy
cup.
crap,
You're a
bro.
B cup, man.
I'm a big boy.
Matt's
You're a
next
beat.
project's to make himself
Aye.
a leather bra.
I told you, man.
You need to. Yes, you need to make a leather bra.
Or forge a chainmail one.
I'm gonna come out next time. I'll come in here with my Scottish accent. I'll be Fat Bastard, from Austin Powers. Be like, get in my belly.
We weren't calling you fat. We just said you need a brassiere if you're going to be on video. You can't come in here looking like that.
Yeah,
I'll put a wife beater on.
the nipple, huh?
But no, where I was going with that
Stud sticking out, huh?
is the guy doesn't make stuff for his grinder anymore. Like, he's out of business. And when I bought it from my brother, he bought it from this guy like 5 years ago. So I think that'd be one thing. Like, make sure if you're doing something that's a company that's going to be around that you could buy stuff from. So that's where I'm at with the grinder that I have. So once I start wearing stuff out for that, I'm going to be up Schitt's Creek. So I'm going to have to look at, getting one from Bryant, or a Ameribraid.
I will tell you, I looked at both models very closely, and they're both beautiful grinders. But I just love the look, the assembly, the different parts. They're just 2 damn good companies, and you can flip a coin. But some guys are Ford, some guys are Chevrolet. They both make great trucks. But man, when I sat and look at that Ameribraid and everything, it just takes me over the top away from getting a Broadbeck. And honestly, I'm not knocking their product. I just like the Ameribraid better, and I'm looking forward to getting one. And a matter of fact, I know that probably Broadbeck will do the same thing. The guys over at Ameribraid said, "Hey, when you get ready to make your purchase, give us a call." And I was like, "Well, that is so cool." They're selling these things, and they're like, "Call us and talk to us."
I had a couple of probably half-hour conversations with Vince Molina before I bought mine through Broadbeck.
And you're a Broadbeck user.
Yeah, and he walked me through it. And one of the cool things about Broadbeck, I mean, they save you on the shipping because they send it in flat rate boxes, and you can finish it out yourself. So I got to do mine. I like Texas Tech. I like red and black. So I did my grinder's red, just like parts of my swag table are red.
How will you know if you're bleeding to death?
That's right. And I'll tell you what
I wore
put
my red grinder today.
That's right. I put a primer spray paint and then the red spray paint, and the tolerances on that thing are so tight that it's like a Morrison tenon joint, and I couldn't fit it in because of the thickness of the spray paint. Oh dear God. That's like Joey's cousin, though, right? Down there in Louisiana.
I'm not that.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Holy man, you're holy.
Yeah.
But no, I think they both make great stuff. So I've been happy with them. Anytime I've had a part on it that I've had an issue with, they immediately send me another one. So they're both good.
That's
I don't think you can go wrong either way. It's kind of like Even Heat and Paragon. You can't go wrong, and I think both of these are going to be around 10 years from now.
Yeah, and to just say, my opinion is solely based on whatever flipped you to go that way. And a lot of it is that I don't know the Broadbeck story, but I know the story from Ameribraid, and spent some time learning it and their new shop and how they're growing and what all is going into what they do. 2 great engineering fellows doing that, and just a brand that I've decided I want to support. Also, how quickly they came on to support us and you know, sent us some gear to wear as well. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like that. It's just they're the ones that came to us first and said with Joey reaching out to them, and it's a wonderful experience so far. So that's cool. That's cool.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide which way I'm going to end up going with mine, whether I'm going to end up doing one of those, or if I am just going to go ahead and go with one from Brian House and do a video on the build on it and all that stuff.
You'll get a variable speed, right?
Really cool. Yeah. I would get the kit that had the variable speed, that had the direct drive, that all the stuff that he has. And partially because I can make the video series about it, and it will recoup some of the cost of making it from the ad revenue and whatnot. But you know, but I don't know. I like the Ameribraid. I like the Broadbeck. I like a lot of those different ones. Whichever direction I'm gonna go, those are gonna be the people that I shout out the whole entire time.
Top three choices.
Yeah, and you know, I really like Brian. I like the stuff that he does, and the fact that he continuously tries to advance it and make it better and change it up and modify the process. And but I'll tell you, the Ameribraid is a beautiful machine. If you're just going purely off of the way it looks, that thing is sexy.
Over the Series 1. Oh, you know, the big jump that they made just in the structure and everything from the first series,
the fastback,
up to the current one they've got. I mean, it's like, it's like going from the station wagon to the.
They also, they also have a new one that they just came out with, the
2x48,
the smaller one.
No, the
I think it's 2x48. I don't think it's 2x42.
It's a 48.
You're right.
It's a 48.
Yeah, and that sold out very quickly too. And it's just the engineering behind what they do. Of course, they're both You know, I'm speaking of the two what I consider mostly people talk about Broadbeck and Ameribraid, but they're just cool looking, highly engineered machines.
And man, they're super nice. If you have a question and you call Eric or Kevin, I mean they'll hop on the phone with you and stay on the phone with you till your problem's solved or you're done asking questions. And that's just the type of people they are.
Well, guys, we've been on a while, so I guess we're going to call this one a wrap. Hold on one second, and thanks for doing the post show, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks. We're gone.
Brought to you by Porkhouse Productions.